Hey everybody, it's card time. What a week. Oh my goodness. I can't even. Before I start the cards, I just wanted to talk a little bit about my feelings because I'm sure that some of you out there might be experiencing the same feelings that I am experiencing. This morning, well, let's back up. Yesterday, my husband had an appointment in Connecticut, 2.5 hours away from where we live. So now we're talking that's 5 hours round trip. Not to forget to mention the 3 hours for the appointment. So there's another 8 hours. And the traffic was insane. Now, I rearranged my schedule ahead of time and blocked off yesterday on my calendar, on my work calendar, so that I would not plug anybody into that date, so that I could go with him to this appointment. He asked me to go with him. We took my vehicle because I thought I was going to have to drive home. It was an extensive review of his eye. Everything worked out great. The appointment worked out great, but the traffic. And now my daughter set me up with Android Auto, which is much better, way better, in fact. But I've only used it like 3 times. And yesterday was the third time. And I didn't know how to navigate, being the fact that my husband was driving. I didn't want to mess up the navigation, so we didn't have any music, which we're used to having music when we drive. But the traffic was insane. Let me just say, getting onto 91 through, going through Northfield, Mass, and then getting onto 91, that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. It was when we broke off of 91 to head towards Connecticut that it just became nutsville. I mean, we're talking every single box truck on the planet, every single flying vehicle on the planet. And I mean, I literally, not to forget to mention that we've never been here before. We didn't know where we were going. We were following the GPS and not knowing the road. If it says take this exit, you're looking ahead for the exit, trying to navigate in and out of all this traffic. Okay, so we made it there. It wasn't that bad, but coming home was way worse. I mean, it was back-to-back cars. It was, if you didn't know that you had to veer off, 4 lanes, you had to make it over to the right lane. I mean, it was just crazy. And I don't drive 75, 80 miles an hour. I refuse. I refuse because I think about the impact of an accident going that fast. I'm dead. So I tend to stay in the middle lane because if I have to go left, I go left. If I have to go right, I go right. Or I stay over to the slow lane because if I only want to drive 60 miles an hour, then everybody can pass me. I don't care, pass me. That's just the way I drive, and I feel safer that way. But my husband, whether it's a man thing or whatever, he's keeping up with the flow of traffic. So needless to say, yesterday was extremely stressful. And then I get up this morning, I have my doctor's appointment. And I said, you know what? I don't have to go to work until later. I'm going to make myself look nice. I'm going to put on makeup. I'm going to actually iron my clothes, iron my pants, just comfortable pants. Everything matched. I'm going to take my coffee on the way, and I walk out my door, And I have a runner because our driveway is gravel. So I have a runner that goes alongside my car. So when I step from the stairs around the corner into my car, I'm not tracking all this gravel into my vehicle. We had rain for 2 days, and I took a step on this runner, and it was like saturated with water, and my feet just hydroplaned, and I went flying. And my coffee cup went flying, and I caught myself on my knee and tumbled over onto my side, and I got dirty. I got wet. I got muddy. And I said, why do I bother? Why do I bother to make myself look nice if I'm just going to look like crap? Doesn't make any sense to me. The Leo in me is saying, well, this sucks. I mean, and because I had to be somewhere, I couldn't change my clothes. I didn't want to change my clothes, and I really didn't want to go to my doctor's appointment because I hate going to doctor's appointments. So I couldn't even laugh at the fact that I fell. But I sucked it up and I said, I'll just take a rag. I'll wipe whatever I can off my body. Hopefully it'll dry by the time I get there. And I walk into my doctor's appointment that I was dreading. And I had a long talk with my doctor. And in the time frame of talking and being vulnerable, I just broke down and started crying. I can't tell you when the last time was I had a good cry. It's been months. Maybe 2 years. I don't even know. I can't remember. That's how long it's been. Maybe a trickle here and there, but I just started crying, and I really tried to fight it. Because everything has changed. Everything has changed. Years ago, we went to the doctors when we were running a fever and it wouldn't go away, or we just didn't feel good, and we knew that it might be something like, an infection somewhere, or whatever it was. We find something on our body that doesn't seem right. That's why we went to the doctors. But now it's almost like, got to go to your annual appointment, got to get your annual mammogram, got to get your annual bone density test, got to get your annual whatever, something. It frustrates me. It just frustrates me. Of course I want to be healthy. But I also don't want to miss out on the joy of life either, because I have to watch everything I do. And so I tried to keep it all in perspective. I knew this day was coming. I'm done with the shots. I feel like, maybe 5 years down the road, I'll get a shot. I am going to try the medication that she gave me, but, the fear factor of, if you don't do this, if you don't do that, if you don't do this, if you don't do that, you're going to die. Well, the stress of that makes me want to die. It doesn't make me want to enjoy life. It just doesn't. And if I only have 20, 25 years left to my life, then why wouldn't I want to enjoy it to the best of my ability right now? And people are like, well, you can't enjoy it if you're not healthy. And I'm like, but I'm not healthy. I'm not healthy. Statistics show, well, okay, maybe I'll deal with that when it happens. I don't know. But I just know that I wake up every morning and I make a choice to be happy. And it's worked out really well for me. It's been a lot of work, but it's worked out really well for me. But as soon as I start thinking about oh, I better watch out, I'm going to end up with knee surgery, or I better watch out, I'm going to end up in hip surgery. I better watch out, I'm going to end up with shingles. I better watch out, I'm going to end up with COVID. I better watch out, I'm going to have the flu, end up in the hospital and die after having pneumonia. I can't live like that. I cannot live like that. And who can? Who can? So, yeah, that was my day. And so I decided I'm going to flip some cards. And I chose to flip from the card deck Work Your Light by Rebecca Campbell. And I already pre-flipped these cards because I'm sitting at an angle here and it's uncomfortable. I'm going to be setting up an area upstairs to do just my videos. I haven't had the time to do that yet. My schedule is winding down. And then on weekends, it's like, oh my God, last weekend I had to mow the lawn. We had other things that we had to get done. And it was like, it's going to get done. It's going to get done. I know I keep saying it, but it's going to get done. So the first card that I pulled is Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light and laying foundations. What is the divine plan? So Anna was Mary's mother. And Anna came from, or as we sometimes say, Saint Anne. Anna is not the original name. From the Hebrew and Greek, Anna was Hannah, which morphed into Anna, which morphed into Saint Anne. And she was one of the very first mystics, really. Because she was there to support Mary. And she was there to give the foundation for which Mary was chosen to carry Jesus. Now, we're talking biblical texts here. So within all of this, she saw ahead of time the divine plan, even before it happened. This is the mystical version of Anna, Saint Anne. So way back, she was already laying the seed for the higher consciousness that was about to take place. And this is what some of us have as our destiny, to lay the foundation of the higher consciousness for the up and coming generations. And oftentimes we have done it without even thinking about it. We did it when we didn't even know there was such a term as higher consciousness. We did it because our intuitions told us this is the way we should be. This is what we should do. And I often wondered why I was so strict raising my children. But in hindsight, I can understand why. Because I didn't know the way that my life was going to unfold. And regrets are pointless. Regrets are pointless. Because I'm sure all of us can look at our lives and think to ourselves that if we woulda, shoulda, coulda, we would have changed some things. But it's pointless because it's already happened. And if we really want to get into the higher consciousness of it all, we can look at the fact that our souls actually chose the path it was on. So the ancestral lineage the mystics, the women that have raised all of us in our lives, laid the foundational seeds. And I know that even the most difficult of relationships, there has been something to glean from it, whatever that is. And I'm not going to go into abusive relationships, abusive parenting. That's not why I'm here. I'm not a psychiatrist. I am not a psychologist. I'm just saying, take this, what I'm saying for this reading this week. There is something to be learned from those that have gone before us. Laying a foundation for us personally in the divine plan that we are now in personally. Now, the next card is Sisterhood of the Rose. I will have to say that if you are listening to this reading and you clicked on it, it's because your purpose on the planet right now is to be a priestess, a priest, a mystic, or a mystical teacher. The beauty and devotion of this particular job far surpasses any monetary gain. So, if you're looking for money out of this, your heart is not in the right place. Because chances are you haven't reached that point yet where you are doing this for the sheer love and devotion that you have to your sisters in the sisterhood or your brothers in the brotherhood right here, right now. If you are looking for monetary gain, now there can be an energy exchange. But if you're looking to get rich, go back inside of yourself and look at your heart and look at what's going on in there. You can do something else and still be the mystical teacher. Now, as a result of this, you are compensated. That's different. That's different because you are not putting the cart before the horse. You are being put in that position as a natural consequence of your love and devotion for the sisterhood or the brotherhood. So, right now, pay attention to where your heart is. If you're seeing dollar signs, push those out of the way because that's going to mess up everything for you. It will. If you're seeing hearts everywhere and you're feeling the joy and the love of doing it, of being a mystical teacher, everything's going to take care of itself. It will take care of itself. I can attest to this. Okay? But I do work another job. The third card is protection. There has been a sense of not feeling protected. And by that I mean the energies around you are very erratic. So at the end of every day, cut those energetic cords. And you can do that while you're lying in bed. You can go and assess your day, and you can start releasing. I actually see the cords being cut in my mind. So if I feel like I've had a particularly, let's just take this for example. Sometimes I do a lot of listening, and sometimes I do a lot of talking. Okay? But I find that for some clients, there needs to be more talking on their part, right? Or without violating privacy, I'm the listener. I end up being the listener. And it can be joyful or it can be heavy. And then at the end of the day, I may feel a little drained from that because I take what I do seriously. So when I go to bed, I see in my mind's eye a cord cutting. I see the other person standing in the distance. I see a cord that's connected from them to me, to my heart space. And I see either myself or Archangel Michael come down with a sword and cut that cord. And I see the cord recoil back to the person, and I see my cord go back into my heart. This is a great practice. I have done it on particularly difficult things, and it works. But the intention and the visualization of it, I feel, has to be really strong in order for the results to be achieved. And so every day, you may have less, you may have more, you may have none at all, depending. When you're on the internet or on social media, you may have to do some cord cutting because everything is energy, okay? Just putting that out there. So doing this is a way to call back your power, okay? It's a way to call back your heart into yourself, to call back your mind into yourself, to call back your thoughts into yourself, to call back your power and know who you are. So the root card of this reading, so we had Anna, the grandmother of Jesus, being the light seeder, laying the foundation for the higher consciousness and the divine plan that was about to take place back then, even to now. There's a deeper meaning to all of that, so think about it. Then we have the Sisterhood of the Rose, which it can be Brotherhood of the Rose as well, or whatever you would like to call it. Devotion to being a mystical teacher, putting the heart first, not the money, going into the heart space and knowing your reason for why you are doing what you are doing and what you have been called to do. The third card is protection, cutting cords, protecting your energy, retrieving your soul back to its original state when it came into your body, which was it was higher. It was much higher. You don't think of that as an infant, but it's true. You came in with all of this information, all of this knowledge, all of this love, all of this power, and became reconditioned through life to be where you are right now and who you are right now. And a lot of that needs to be cut and let it fall away. Now, I don't take that lightly, because that doesn't mean that if you're having relationship troubles that you should just cut that off. It's subtle, but you know it when you feel it. And you know in here that it needs to be done. And you can sense that energy, and you can sense that it's unhealthy. And so that's what I'm talking about. That's what you need to do at the end of your day. Just cut those cords and go to sleep and let your mind rejuvenate. Let your body rejuvenate. But the root card here is take a break. A life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. In other words, the way that you are feeling right now could be the way that I'm feeling right now, which is, am I going to have to work until I'm 80 years old? Because I don't think I can. And so there is a shifting going on in my mind and in my heart, that this treadmill that I've been on for years and years and years, not that I don't love what I do, but I know that something is changing and I know that something is happening, and I really want off the treadmill. I want off of it. I want a shift and a change for my life's work. And that goes back to Anna and the Sisterhood of the Rose. And some of you might be feeling like this. So how do we go about doing that? Well, we start baby steps, making small changes to do this, to be able to do this. And so take a break. Take a break. That's the root of this. Take a break, sense where you are, sense where you want to go, sense how you want to go about it. Take baby steps towards it. It's not all going to happen all at once. And be the master of your own destiny. That's not to say that there aren't curveballs that come in out there. That's not to say that something's going to happen that's going to throw a cog in the wheel. But you can still have that vision and hold on to that vision. And nobody can take that power away from you. Nobody. The only time that anybody has the power to take that away from you is if you allow them to. You are making the choice for your soul. And you are making the choice for the whole. What's higher and better for all, where you are at right now. You're going to be supported and you're going to be taken care of. You are. And were mistakes made? Yes, but did we learn? Did I learn from them? Absolutely. So regrets don't do anything for us, really. What the experience does for us is what matters. So that's the card reading for today. I am going to move into another subject that I'm passionate about, which is makeup, taking care of my skin, and whatnot. I told you all that I was going to follow up with you on the Nivea cream. I've been using it at night, but I started using this last night. I did my whole face. I really, really put a lot on under my eyes. I put a lot on at my crow's feet. I put a lot on right here. I put a lot right here and down here. And then I just kind of put a little bit on the other areas of my skin. And when I got up this morning, I kid you not, that's not what I wanted to say. I wanted to say something else. But when I get up this morning, all of the dry skin areas on my face, the skin was lifting. It was just lifting. The moisture from this cream made the skin pliable in those dry spots that it just lifted off my face when I washed my face. So that was my first real experience with the new Nivea cream from Germany. I will be using it for a week every single night to see how it works for me. If in 7 days I have not gotten a milia, a pimple, or anything like that, time will tell. Okay? Now, the other thing, I went and I purchased from watching a YouTube video, and I absolutely hate it. It's called the NYX Lift and Snatch. It is a brow tint pen. The cap comes off rather. There is no spoolie. The cap comes off hard. There is a tiny little point. The way that you use this is you draw up little tiny strokes in your eyebrow. If you want to bring your eyebrow over to where your eye corner is, straight up, that technically that's where your eyebrows are supposed to be, mine are not. And you're supposed to make these tiny little strokes. Look, I'm an artist, okay? I don't have the time or the want to sit there like this and go stroke, 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 stroke. I don't have the patience for it. And if you make one little wiggle with it, right, it looks awful. Then when you can take your spoolie, but it really doesn't do much. It just doesn't do much. This is this is ash brown. This does not look ash brown to me. It's dark. So good on you if you like the NYX Lift and Snatch. I like my e.l.f. very thin defining pencil with the spoolie on the end, and that's what I use. Today I used it. I didn't put a lot on. If I want to do those little lines, I can. It's so easy. If you make a mistake, you can blend it in with the spoolie and nobody knows. But that thing, don't waste your money. Just don't waste your money. So those are my 2 skincare makeup things for today. I want a Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette. I have been watching so many videos. I just keep going over them and over them and over them. But first of all, I am actually on the website right now. Her mid-size palettes are $69 a piece. Now, I personally don't think that's a lot of money, because if it's an eyeshadow palette that you love and you're going to keep and you're going to use over and over and over again, it's worth the money. The question is, which one do I want to get? Now, this My Dream palette, I probably would get that, but there's no green in it. I mean, I would like to have at least just one green in that whole, because I have hazel eyes and the rosy tones and the plums. It really looks good on green eyes. But the other one that I was looking at that I would loved, then there's the Zendo. I thought about getting that. That's also $69. That has a lot of colors that I would use in it. But the Metropolis eyeshadow palette is $129. And, oops, I'm sorry. That's 3 tanks of gas for me, right? To go back and forth to work. I don't know. I would love that. To me, that would be the palette that's all I ever need, is in the Metropolis eyeshadow palette. It's a 28 pan eyeshadow palette. I don't think I would need any other eyeshadow palette other than that. But of course, I love eyeshadows because I love color. Today I wore Urban Decay, their green palette, which is it's a small little palette like this. But I'm looking for really pigmented eyeshadows that are going to stay on me all day long. I'm looking at the Natasha Denona, and I have another palette that I'm looking at, which is the Pat McGrath, the Midnight Sun, which is on sale right now for $77. So I'm like, okay, $69.77. Should I bump it up to the 77 at Midnight Sun? I don't know. I've just done so much research. And then I say to myself, can I spend the money on something else that would be so much more worth it for me? Now, if that Metropolis, Natasha Denona, would go on sale, I would buy that in a heartbeat. I would buy it in a heartbeat because it has everything that I possibly could want for eyeshadows on it. But I gathered all my eyeshadows together this morning because I wanted to show everybody what I had purchased within the last year. I'm not a content creator on makeup, but I love doing it. I think it's fun to put it on a video. And I just think makeup is fun. And I thought, well, I could do card readings and do makeup at the same time. And that's why I started my channel. Basically, it was for the card readings, for the scrying, for the soul ores, and to talk a little bit about women stuff, right? I think I need to take some time for myself. How about you? How about you? Okay? And oftentimes when I feel like this, I like to do some retail therapy. And that's why I've been looking at these eyeshadows on the websites. So I will see you guys later, and make today a great day. Choose to be happy. Despite what all these voices are saying out there, choose to be happy. Okay? I love you all. Be well, be blessed, be beautiful. Until next time. Bye-bye.